But Trump would be
RFK has a lot of thoughts about things being bad for you that aren't generally agreed on.
Yeah.
Fluoride in the water comes to mind.
That makes the frogs gay, right?
It does.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
That one is like there are studies.
Oh my God, it reminds me of Alex Jones.
Like
so
it does.
So Alex Jones lost his case. They took all of his monies away, and he owes the Sandy Hook families $1 billion. So they're auctioning off all of his belongings. And I suppose one of the belongings is his company, his media company. What's it called?
Infowars.
Infowars. So they auction off Infowars. Like the whole, I don't know what that includes. It certainly includes the name and it's the corporation or whatever, all that shit. Guess who bought it?
The Onion.
The Onion.
Lucky
the
guess.
fucking Onion News Network bought Infowars. And
you know what? The Onion should buy it on the Infowars website. They should say, we're getting into the fake news business. That's hilarious.
I think they might have made a mistake. Like I don't think the Onion's traffic has been great the past few years compared to what. Do you remember how fucking funny the Onion was? There's a video that like makes me die laughing from like 2010 on the Onion, where it's a panel of news people talking about paranoid schizophrenics, and they're talking about what they need to do to make the life better for schizophrenics. And they're like, something they really enjoy is seeing people they're familiar with. And so we've bandied about the idea of surgically replacing the faces of their doctors, with those of their loved ones in a way to ensure, and something that these people need, Tom, my understanding is to be watched at all times. 100%, Alan. That's why we've already started putting small cameras, little bits of, surveillance equipment in all of their homes, but we keep it very small. They can't find it. It won't upset them. That's wonderful. And you think this is going to help them? Oh, 100%. Yeah, these people really need to be watched at all times.
My favorite one, and it's weird, like the timing. I watched it last night, I swear. It's the boy who has killed a home intruder, and he's being hailed as
that's a good one.
He's being hailed as a hero on the morning show, like Good Morning America, and they're like, and you went and ran and got your daddy's gun, didn't you? I ran and got the gun, yeah. And then what happened? I saw him there standing, and he put his hands up and said, please don't shoot. You didn't listen, did you? I shot him in the knee. Bang! And he fell to the ground. And I stood over him while he cried. Bang! Bang, bang, bang! And he tells this horrific story. and at one point he's just like, I love the blood. I need blood.
I played in it. This one that Zach's about to bring up, this is another evergreen classic from The Onion. The fat kid successfully avoids ridicule by swimming with shirt on.
Yeah.
It's like they ask him, and he's like this gruff voice little kid where they're like, so Alan, when did you think of this? He's like, I was just sitting around, and kids have been bullying me, and so I figured I'm gonna leave my shirt on. Wow. And did that really help them stop bullying you? Not particularly, but it distracted them from it for long enough for me to enjoy swimming. Very funny video.
My favorite is a video. Maybe this hits home in my house more, but there's an autistic man interviewing an inmate, and the inmate starts describing the really disciplined, strict schedule that they force him to follow. And the autistic guy just fucking loves it. He's like, yeah, lights on at 9 a.m. exactly every day. Like regimented lunch, dinner.
Dude, that's
you get in. The guy's like, well, a lot of things. No, exactly. How do you get in? How do you get this? he's like, so all you have to do is rob one bank and you're in.
That's another really funny one that I like, because it starts. He's like, so you're in prison. What are you in prison for? And then asking stuff like that. And he's like, every day for 30 minutes you have lunch. Is it at the same time each and every day? How can I get in here? I like it's so funny. Yeah, The Onion used to be really good. I haven't.
Did they do the boy not so tough after being molested?
That's another hilarious.
The bully not so tough.
Bully not so tough after being
molested. As I've heard it before. Like The Onion got old to me, not bad. You make the same rough joke for a couple decades, and I've heard it before.
Well, maybe they can do something with this with the Infowars purchase. I worry about poor Alex Jones, who made that.
Oh yeah, poor guy.
What he did was just fucking awful. It really was. That one thing. The rest of those lies were for fun and for funsies. But they were entertaining, and I kind of miss him being in the world. I saw someone suggest that he was going to be the press secretary, which would just be diabolical.
Oh, wow.
It would just be diabolical. Like, even if I hope Trump does the thing where he has a different one every month. Like, it's almost like a different guy every month. You could throw Joe Rogan up there one month. Hilarious. Do that.
He'd do it well, but he's not available, I'm sure.
I think it's a really hard job. I think you have to like really stay up on like not only the world events, but how the president, what the president's position is on each and every one of them, and how he wants that position put forward. I bet it'd be hard.
It's hard to do it well, like you're suggesting, but you can do it poorly too, and just say, you'll have to ask the president directly on that.
Yeah, you can just bullshit, I guess. Yeah.
That those 24-inch pythons up there.
The Hulkster?
The Hulkster, yeah.
He'd run out of shit.
Who else
quick.
but a wrestler would know how to react, no matter. He doesn't need to know anything. You got to go the opposite direction with it. Instead of knowing everything, just know nothing and constantly talk about Hulkamania and America and brother and how you're, that was great.
Beating the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
That's solid.
I was posting World Trade Center, was getting blown up every game that we won. That was pretty good.
That is a good meme.
Good trash talk.
Yeah, they're all sensitive about 9/11. It's like, get over it.
Yeah, get over it.
Those New Yorkers.
You weren't there, gay lords. Get over it. Shut up. Sound like the Parkland kids.
Oh my God.
You think kids now are like, hey, mom and dad, if I get killed in a school shooting, don't use me in a commercial for The Onion, please.
I mean, I don't think kids are astute enough to be requesting that, but they probably
should be. They should be putting it in their will. Don't use me for any promotional purposes.
If I'm killed in a tragedy, don't profit off it.
At least not The Onion. Come on.
Actually,
like Sam Hyde, help Sam Hyde out, not The Onion.
Yeah, help the Ghost of Kiev.
Oh,
if I was killed in a school shooting when I was a kid, I would not have minded if my parents used it to make money.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, they're already sad enough.
I wouldn't
mind money in any kind of way?
Not any kind of way.
Wait, are we giving a hard time to the parents of the victims of a school shooting?
Not we, Woody.
I am.
They.
What?
Yeah.
You think they shouldn't have sued Alex Jones?
Yeah, fuck that. $1 billion? That's less than he would have to pay if he killed them himself. That's a little much.
I don't sympathize with Alex Jones. It came out he sort of knowingly was lying in an effort to profit and pimp his supplements and such. Like, he wasn't wrong. He was a liar.
You're allowed to be a liar.
Children's families. Oh no.
$1 billion? That's a little much, don't you think?
At some point, it doesn't matter. It could be 30 billion. It's just whatever he has.
Yeah. So you can't.
It's just a way to destroy his.
And not have a trial, and then selling his
trial
where you can't bring evidence and there's no jury. That's not a trial.
He didn't show up to his deposition, right? Like, he failed to show up at the trial. He failed to show up at his deposition, and then he's like, "I didn't get a chance to talk." Yes, you did. You just.
So you think he got his due process, Alex Jones?
Yeah, I do. But he decided not to show up and explain his side. So
okay,
the text messages kind of proved everything you needed to know. He's
guys,
guilty.
This was supposed to be a lighthearted joke about me being murdered and being okay with my parents making money from it. And now you're talking about gay ass politics.
All right, so that's your legacy. They make money off your legacy. What about literally making money off you? Like, let's say you die, and for whatever reason, let's say you literally die tomorrow, and for whatever reason, whoever's in your life who has access to your remains, they want to have a little fun. And so they give your remains over to Woody and I. We form an LLC that does scientific research called PKA Technicalities, and then they donate it to that, make it all legal. Now we have your corpse. If we dismembered you and sold the pieces of you bit by bit to the fan base, like, is that something that would upset you to know was going to happen, or would you? Or are you like,
be a pal?
I'm totally fine with it. You guys are my friends, and I want to leave something to you.
That's so, man. I appreciate the hell out of that.
All day, every day, baby.
You know, the top bidder on your head is gonna, God, it's gonna be so cool. We're gonna take
his head is gonna go for a mint, but I don't care how much it costs. I want to keep the ass cheek with the dent in it because that's
it healed. He healed.
That's
dent.
Mostly buffed out by now. It's part of God's great mysteries. So, Dick, I fell
buffed out with fat. What do you mean?
No, buffed out with like years of putting more frequency in this cheek with lunges. Years of it. Years of
Okay.
it. I fell.
What did
out
it
of-
look like?
It was all fucking fucked up. It was all dent. So
You know, when you take an air hose and you blow into your belly.
yeah, it's not quite that extreme, but like, and it wasn't on the ass cheek. It's more like the highest amount of butt that can't be considered back, like in that region. And so like I was wasted at a friend's bachelor party. Like this is probably 2017 at this point, and we got trashed and we were having a great time. And when I got there late. And it was a big house in the Ozarks, and there were tons of beds downstairs for like the sleeping quarters and everything because it was for a weekend. And I got down there and I was like, oh man, there's only a top bunk left. I always would roll out of those because I'm a very active sleeper. I move around a lot. And in my head, like I was like, it's fine. You haven't fallen out of a bunk bed since you were a child. Now, I didn't have the cognition at that time to go, you haven't fallen out of a bunk bed since you were a child because you haven't been in a bunk bed since you were a child, you fucking fat retard.
Right.
And so I like went to bed that night. The bar that's supposed to keep you in wasn't screwed in. It had like one weak nail on either side. And so I rolled in the middle of the night. And this was like a military style bunk bed. And so I wasn't 5.5 feet in the air like a children's bedroom. I was easily 6'4" in the air.
Oh my
and
God.
I rolled out of this thing. I blasted through the side of I knocked the whole board off, and I fell 8 feet or 6.5 feet.
Keep going.
And I landed on the board from that high in like dead weight mode. And it landed where like the board stuck, like the flat part of the board hit my ass so hard that it like dented the musculature in my ass. And so the next day we were going home,
Buick.
and the next day wasn't even the end of the trip. And so the next day I'm like in a horrible mood, like everybody's getting drunk. I'm like not even drinking. I'm like, I want to go fucking home. This sucks. And so like the whole ride home, every time my friend would take a left turn in his fucking expedition or whatever, it was pushing me to the right. And I was like, da 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 da. Because my whole ass cheek was black as night, midnight. It was so bruised. And then when it went down, like I put on like shorts and I'd look at my left ass cheek and be like, nice ass. Nice curved ass. I've always been caked up. I've always been caked up. Ask anyone.
Yeah.
And then I would turn to the right and like I'd see a drape and then an actual indent in how my shorts were hanging. Yeah. And so like I convinced myself, I was like, I can work out through this. And so I went back home, waited for the bruise and everything, all the pain to go away. And I was doing like split lunges for a long time, like Bulgarian split squats. And I would like do my normal weight with my left leg, which is not the injured ass. Blasted through it just fine. And then like I went and did it with the right leg, and like this was an amount of weight that I was incredibly used to. There was no reason for this to be difficult for me. And like I would get down and like halfway through the movement, like it would die out on me. It was like I would get a stinge of like sciatic pain that would go down to my left like kneecap, almost like a really weird numbness and stinging, and like it just died out. And so I had to nerve damage. And so I had to do like I had to rehabilitate my own right ass at a bachelor party with a huge amount of lunges. And it is literally only in the last couple years that like I'll put on like I'll like after the shower look at it and be like, we're getting back, baby. We're
double caked again.
And so I can still see, maybe it's because I have a trained eye, like I can still see where it
of your own ass,
of my own ass. Yeah. And it's mostly fixed now, but I'll never have the beautiful ass I had before. It'll never be the same. And in those years I have gotten hairier, and so everything's going downhill.